Hey guys, it's your boy Mauzy, and today we are going to showcase something really interesting. As we are preparing for the STARBOW tournament, it's gonna be probably by the time the video gets uploaded, it's gonna be Friday, so Saturday, which is the 29th of July 2023. It's gonna be a wonderful revival kind of thing of STARBOW, which is a so-called evolved Starcraft Brood War inside the SC2 engine, but don't let it fool you, because this is basically whatever StarCraft Brood War gave you as an experience: unit movement, stuff clumping up, the units, buildings, all that stuff, and some other tweaks, a little bit of macro stuff. It's going to be there. There's exclusive stuff to STARBOW, but there is a lot of good jazz that you're gonna like, I'm pretty sure. So by the way, I'll have the challenge link in the description if you're interested. Last minute, just sign up. There's 75 bucks on the line. Special thanks to Halden and KV for jumping in on top of my 30 bucks with another 20 plus 25 respectively. So yeah, joined by me to make things easier so we can just produce this video faster, as it was like kind of a last minute action. It's going to be my recent co-caster from Baltic Cup, it's Origin. Hello, Adam.
How's it? How's it all?
Okay, so just to explain what we have here, we prepared one of each unit from first of all from Protoss and Zerg. Origin has been taking care of the Zerg, as we can see here. Pretty much you're gonna recognize a lot of the units. And I've been taking care of the Protoss, and in a couple of moments we're going to show you the Terran as well. So what's the difference for Protoss? Let's start there. First you have, well, you can see I already mined out my base. What a good boy I am. Mining, let's start with the mining. That's you can see that the worker spread is kind of weird. Only one worker can mine the mineral patch, and it kind of messes with the AI, as you know, in StarCraft 2, whenever the probe is going to an occupied patch, or the worker just goes to an occupied patch, it just bounces off. And yeah, that's pretty much it about the mining. Other than that, probes and drones have a bit of a range, so we can see you can kind of kite with it if you're really good with it, but yeah, other than that, nothing too extra. So let's start with the Nexus, because this is an interesting one. So you can see that this Nexus is actually really standard, nothing fancy, but you have this upgrade here, the Kaldarian Citadel, which will start, but it's already here. So it costs 50 minerals and requires a single pylon, so only a pylon is required. You can get it, you can rush it if you'd like to, and it gives you three things. First of all, it gives you chrono boost, which says it increases the attack speed of photon cannons. That is also true, but that is also a chrono boost. So if I speed this up, you can see that there is a small, like really small side of it, but yeah, like we're going to produce two probes. And we're going to chrono boost one of them, and we'll see that one of them should finish faster. Would be funny if it wouldn't, right? No, actually it does. So you can see that this is a real chrono boost, but so it kind of works the same as in StarCraft 2 if you're familiar with it. For those who come from Brood War, this is not a function implemented in Brood War, as isn't Rift. So Rift means it's kind of a recall, but it's not like a recall. You can see that it's actually channeled on the ground, and when it recalls to that certain Nexus, it basically just stops it from doing anything for a couple of seconds, and it's up to 5 ground units. Now the next thing, which is quite interesting, is the energized pylon, which actually means, let's get a couple of probes here. Okay, and we can see if we energize this pylon, it's going to grab from its own shields and restore the shield of the unit. So works like a battery in SC2 because there's no battery in STARBOW. But it's like the pylon. It's kind of like SC2 players might be familiar with overcharging pylons and whatnot from earlier patches. It's something like that, but not exactly. Moving on to like the tech tree thing. So you basically have your standard gateway with the gateway units, and oops, look what there is. So for 50 minerals and 100 gas each, which means this is not an upgrade, this is just this single gateway. I'm gonna show you, so we can, as it is in SC2, of course it's a bit slower. It will transform the gateway into a warp gate. You can also chrono boost these buildings, by the way, for those who are unaware. And now wherever you have pylon field, you can just warp in, the same as in StarCraft 2. Other than that, you have your cyber core, which features the Dragoon range and features a new ward, which is for an interesting unit. We're gonna research this. We're even gonna chrono boost it to finish, and by the time this finishes, we'll present everything else. You have your classic air upgrades, air armor, everything else. Then you have Citadel of Adun, which unlocks with the cyber core. Then Citadel unlocks the Templar archives, and of course, basically, like, we can see that the tech tree is basically the same. So you have the Citadel, which unlocks Templars. Stargate unlocks the Fleet Beacon and the Arbiter Tribunal. Robotics Facility unlocks the Robo Bay and the Observatory. Yes, you need an observatory in order to construct observers. Keep that in mind. And you have Reavers. But we're going to get to the units in just a moment. So basically, that's pretty much it about the units. I mean, sorry, the tech tree. Everything is super standard. You have everything really, really nicely done. So basically, the unit is, like you can see, the Zealot. We have the legs upgrade, leg enhancement. So it's gonna make speed lots. We have your classic Dark Templar. We have the High Templar. Storm is broken, so keep that in mind. We have hallucinations. Not all the hotkeys will work, but something to mention is that custom hotkey layouts, if you use one, could work. You just need to tweak some of the hotkeys and just personalize it before you start. So you have your typical hallucination, and yeah, it can morph into Archons. Here's the Archon as well. And Dark Templars morph into Dark Archons. Now, if you're from Brood War, you're familiar with it. Unless you play StarCraft 2 co-op, you'll not see a Dark Archon. But this one has the feedback of the SC2 High Templar. And has Maelstrom, which actually is only good against bio, so no mechanical units. Bio units get stunned. You can see that they get stunned. And Mind Control, well, Mind Control is what it is, basically. It's a permanent mind control, but it actually drains the shield from the Dark Archon, so it's gonna be really, really squishy. So you need to be really careful if you want to save the Dark Archon as well. But you can do like worker steals and just, you know, troll around and stuff like that. We don't really want to see these kind of trolls, but we'll laugh at it if it happens. The Dragoon is back in place, so, or never left actually. It has all the clunky movement, as you can see. Then we have the most useless unit in the game. We have the Scout, which has the Disruption Web for some reason. Don't ask me why. So it has the Disruption Web, and yeah, it was removed from the Corsair. The Corsair is, other than that, still the best anti-air. So in PvZ, it's gonna be quite a staple unit. And something new that's been added in STARBOW, and it's exclusive, is the Sentinel. So the Sentinel works a bit different. You remember this one was researched, the Null Ward was researched over here. First of all, let's show what Null Ward is. It just spawns this little thingy. It doesn't move, doesn't do anything. It has 1000 decaying HP, which means it's gonna lose HP over time, but it's going to have priority to be attacked as well. So it's kind of nice. Then you have this, if you're familiar with the oracles in StarCraft 2, then you might think that, yeah, this is kind of like it, but you know, you need to like either patrol it above the mineral line, and it slows down the sentinel itself. So it's kind of weird. Also, another ability that slows it down, it's going to be glare. Glare reveals in this particular area that you can see around here, reveals every single invisible unit. So it's kind of a buggy circle. I don't know why, but you get the idea. So it has a huge radius. It fits the purposes of a oracle, kind of. Also, I don't know if I can steal. No, I cannot steal Origins units, so no chance for that. But yeah, we have the carrier, which is basically the same. It has its upgrades, by the way. Has the upgrades for interceptor move speed. Sorry, not intercept. Why did I say interceptor move speed? Oh wait, never mind. There is an interceptor move speed. I think the upgrade that gave more interceptors was taken out. Observers have an interesting upgrade here. They have the speed upgrade and they have a +2 vision, but there is also a phase shift ability. I'm trying to research it real quick. So you can see that this has, and it says that the observer is going to be invulnerable to attacks. So even if it gets spotted, you can save it if you're quick to react. So it's kind of a nice thing. And this one, well, this would be the shuttle, but interestingly enough, if you're familiar with the warpism from StarCraft 1, sorry, StarCraft 2, what am I talking about? Then you'll see this feature. So basically, I can warp in. The warp-in circle is super small, so you're not gonna see like 20-30 warp-ins unless you, and it's kind of slow, as you could see. Also has the speed upgrade, so you can do like reaver drops, you know. It's quite nice. The range, the pickup range is not that great, so you can see that it's only a couple of units, so nothing fancy there. And the final one, my favorite actually, is basically the Arbiter. Cloaks every single unit. If you're familiar with it, you're familiar with it. It's like a mothership in StarCraft 2, and also has one of my favorite abilities, which is recall. And it's really fast. I think it's much faster. Also has the stasis. So this one just freezes the units. Cannot attack, cannot move, but they're also immune to damage. So it's kind of nice to actually just set up, you know, disable half of the army of the opponent and just move on and basically clean up the other half and just clean up the one that got frozen after it runs out. So yeah, that's pretty much it about the Protoss. I hope I didn't forget anything, and that's pretty much it. Origin, take it away.
Thank you, Mauzy. That was a good introduction for Protoss. Like Mauzy mentioned earlier, I will be demonstrating Zerg. As Mauzy did mention, mineral harvesting is exactly very similar to Brood War, same with gas. If you can see, if your Vespene gas guys runs out, your drones will always extract 2 gas at a time. So technically it doesn't, it just reduces from 8 to 2, but you have that in
yeah, 8 minerals and 8 gas per turn. That's also something we need to mention.
Then let's start with the Zerglin. As you can see, we got Zerglin. The movement is very similar to Brood War. So what we can do, I've got a good example here. Clump Zerglins on the ramp. You can see the moving, they clump up a lot together. So they're definitely the moving engine is very similar to Brood War on that fact. For the Zerglins, it's more or less the same upgrades. Its metabolic boost can be researched on first tier, and then adrenal can be researched on tier 3 for Zerg. And then for Zerg, the only difference from StarCraft 2 to it will be, or one of the differences is hydrogen can be accessed on tier 1. It's one of your first buildings you can produce, and Hydralis that's a bit more powerful than the usual StarCraft hardware list. So it's actually, just make note for anyone that's playing, that it's actually a very useful unit regarding in the game. It's one of your primary units.
Yeah,
Then,
basically backbone. It's a backbone.
it's a core unit.
Yeah.
Moving over to the queens. The queens very, very different, I should say. As you can see, K is still the same, move slow off creep. Note, if you spawn a creep tumor with a queen, you can't actually from the creep tumor to spawn another creep tumor. That's constantly, you have to use the queen to spawn creep tumors. The queen doesn't attack unless you enrage your queen. So if you enrage, it will be enraged or be enraged for 22 seconds. That will allow the queen to attack.
That's 10 damage, which is actually really powerful, but only attacks ground. That's also
Yes.
it says targets ground, so it's good tooltips.
We've got the transfuse, which is exactly the same, but just to revise it, when you transfuse for a cost of 40 mana or energy, you will give your target life 110 life back to it. But the most the most different mechanic regarding it will be the inject. So injects usually on the usual base on StarCraft 2 will spawn a bit additional lava. These injects, they don't. They actually make your lava hatch quicker. So let me build an Ultralist, takes 50 seconds. So, and let's check there.
Okay, maybe. Oh yeah, it's gonna. Oh, it actually hatches fast.
It's basically times 1.5 faster on the thing on the clock regarding to your units to hatch. As you can see, also example clumpiness of the engine and that.
Yeah, the good old Ultralist, that clump up.
Then, as you guys can see in the Zerg's main base, it's pretty much normal. Tier 2 is tier 2, it will evolve. From tier 2, you'll be able to get a Viper nest.
Origin, could you like drop the inject on the hatchery just to show it? So I'm not sure if it shows. And also which one? Okay, there we go. So this is how it looks like. And when this bar is there, you cannot stack it up like in StarCraft 2. So you need to keep an eye on it. And also you only want to use it when you are actually producing something, so... Yes. Ah yeah, one more important thing. 1 queen per hatchery.
Correct. As you can see, 1 queen there. This queen.
Okay, 2 queens, and you can produce 1 more. Oh wait, never mind. You have a lot of hatcheries, so.
Yes. As you can see, got this. So we got 1. 2, 3. Yeah, it's about 1 queen per hatchery. You won't allow you to build any more queens than the amount of hatcheries you have. Alright. Then on tier 2, your tier 2 unit, you got the Muta.
Oh yes, the most microbull unit.
Yeah. So as you can see, on the glaive worm, it's 1 hit. It hits 9 damage on your. That's the first target hits. The first bounce. Second bounce does 3 damage. Third bounce does 1 damage. But when it stacks up, you can do the math. That depending on how many meters you have. The Viper can be built relatively quite fast compared to StarCraft 2, and it has a few new abilities, casting abilities.
Sadly, it doesn't show on my HUD as I click on it. Actually,
let me quickly do this. Try now.
Can you go to
give control?
Yeah, give control. Maybe it's gonna show. Oh yes, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so it has. Okay, well, I'll let you explain though.
So it has
You can actually do it
which,
because now I just see everything. So
yes. NCO which units within the target area is reducing their attack speed by 50% and movement speed by 50%. Last 15 seconds. Then they have the parasite. So a parasite attaches to a target unit, affecting the player. Basically, it grants the user vision, and it also can infect cloaked or borrowed units, and they're always visible to the unit. Okay, then you got Spawn Locus. Spawn Locus is a researched ability. This would have to be researched. It allows the Viper to spawn 2 Locus at a target enemy unit that will impact, or impact damage deals 200. And then Contaminate level 1. So target structure will be unable to train units or research upgrades for 16 seconds. This was a very basically the same what the Overseer could do in Starcraft 2, but they just gave the Viper this ability. Also note regarding when I mentioned about Overseer, you don't get an Overseer in STARBOW. Your Detector will be your standard Overlord.
yep. And it also has the 2 upgrade. You don't have to morph them into like dropper lords if you just need to research the thing.
Correct.
Also has this little creep thing. Was this a thing in? This wasn't a thing in Brood War, right? It's
no,
not.
It wasn't ability. Okay. And then also with your Spire, you get your Muta, and then you got Scourge. The Scourge was a very actually recognized unit in Brood War. It's the Banelings of the Sky. Let me
Oh
get
yes. I'm also bringing one. Just to see how it works. Let's just blow it up in the Overlord.
So note, Scourge does 110 damage and it spawns in pairs like Zerglings. So yeah, if a player likes playing a bit of air, that's your solution there.
Yeah, it's quite a nice one because you just like, I guess you just like right click it on the target and the other one just needs to like micro perfectly and stuff.
Correct. Just note to you and regarding it, it is, I'll tell you now, it's 25 minerals and 75 gas per Scourge, per pair of Scourge you're gonna spawn.
Pretty cheap.
To get to, it's very economically cheap. Okay. For Hydralisk, you can see use your Hydralisk. They have explosive damage. It will deal 100% versus armor units, 75% versus medium units, and 50% versus light.
So technically, like against the lurker, it's like a medium. That's a medium, so it's gonna deal 75%. But for example, the Ultra is an armored one, so, and the Zergling is a light one. So you can see in the bottom center of the HUD where it shows the upgrades and everything. If the specific unit is like, if you're not sure what it is, then you can just basically get it. I think there is something for Protoss as well. Yeah, the Dragoon. And is there, yeah, the Scout, and I think the Corsair is not, nothing else if I'm not mistaken. Oh, the Corsair is also doing like explosive damage, so
yeah. And then regarding the Hydralisk, to morph into lurkers, it has to be researched at the Hydralisk den. This can be done at tier 2. Once lurkers research done, you can morph your Hydralisk into a lurker. I'll give you an example there. Be morphing. Morphing takes 33 seconds. From once it's morphed, borrow. Note you can set it on a passive command. This passive command will not attack any units, enemy units that's in the circle. So it's good for nice sneak attacks if there's no detection and that. Once the army gets clumped into that center, then you can set it back to aggressive mode.
it's a bit different, I think. You can see that. Well, actually, no, is it? I don't know if it's different from SC2. Well, the sound is different.
Yeah. Then, from going on to tier 3, you can see you got the Defiler mount. The Defiler is a spellcaster, which it will have Dark Swarm, summons a Dark Cloud at the target area, which causes the ground units within to be immune to range damage, and only take half damage from area effect attacks.
Yeah, basically the same in Brood War, right?
Pretty much. And then you got Plague, which infects units and structures within the target area, causing them to slowly take up to 256 damage. The Plague will never kill or destroy affected units, will only bring their hit point down to the last hit point of the unit's hit point.
You can see that it doesn't kill the lurker, and it splashes, so...
Yes, that's Broodlord also, they had actually a pretty large splashing. Consume target friendly units, destroying it, and it will restore the energy of your Defiler. Then you got your Ultraless Cavern. Ultraless Caverns can be made on tier 3. With it you can involve Chechonia's plating, which gains the Ultraless +2 armor, and then you can also involve Anabolic Synthesis, increased movement speed of Ultraless.
Both take quite long, so...
Yes, both take 110 seconds.
Yeah, but they're basically like necessary upgrades for the ultras. Makes them tanky, and yeah, it's really nice.
Tier 3, like I mentioned, adrenal glands can be researched from the spawning pool. Greater Spire can be built. Just to go on the Greater Spire part, let me grab a meter here. On the meter, you can see it can morph into 2 units. The first one, many Brood War players will be familiar with, is the Guardian. It's a siege flying heavy assault unit. It's almost like, basically a siege flying unit, which deals 25 damage straight. It's quite speedy compared to, I think, Brood War. It's actually quite fast. So it's actually quite a fast siege unit. Then it can morph into a Devourer, which is
And the actually...
yeah, it specializes in anti-air. It can also cast Bright, which spews acid onto the ground at the target area, causing up to 150 damage to the enemy ground units and structures. Last 30 seconds.
Oh, I don't think this hurts.
Doesn't work on
ally.
Fire.
Yeah, okay. That's good to know. They can just buff into this whole thing.
Yeah, so it can be actually very good if you have a few of those, and with the damage going there, Marines are gonna have a hard time. There.
Yeah. Oh yes.
On the evolution chamber, it's pretty much standard. Evolution chamber enables you to build a spawn. It won't be Impaler colony or a sunken colony. It's your straight spawns from Starcraft 2 and straight spore crawlers from Starcraft 2. Melee upgrades at Evo, missile attacks at Evo, and carapace at Evo. Chamber.
Okay, I think we said everything, right?
I think we covered the Eruptor, the last.
Oh yes, this is exclusive to...
Yes. So the Eruptor, it looks exactly same as the Ravager, just a tinier than the Ravager. As you can see, it doesn't have its normal casting ability, Corrosive Bow, but with that, it can attack air and it can attack ground. Okay, it's Flame Spit. So Raptor's Flame Spit lights enemies on fire, applying 25 damage over 3 seconds. This damage does not stack.
There's the
Erupting-
overheat. This is the ones.
Yes. Overheat Raptor's explosive mortar charges up when it attacks. After a short period of time, its attack speed increases significantly. If it stops attacking, it will lose its attack.
You can see how fast it attacks. And you can see how it actually just wait, does it set? Oh, it just lights enemies on fire. Okay, 20. I don't think it works on. Oh, actually no, look at that. Okay, so every single attack just works like that.
So you can actually cart it to bring your enemy down.
It actually has a nice attack as well.
And it can cart quite well, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. That's
yeah, so from my side. Oh yes, one more thing is your Greater Nidus network. Greater Nidus network, as you can see, it can't, if it's not on creep, it will not allow to spawn. So it has to be a creep.
Actually I cannot because it says I have not enough minerals and gas, but you can just show me. Okay, there we go. So it's basically Nidus network from Starcraft 2, and it's actually Nidus Canal. A bit, it's a mix of Nidus Canal from Brood War and Nidus network from a Nidus Worm, sorry, from Starcraft 2.
Yeah, that's it, pretty straightforward.
No, it's luckily there's nothing too big. The ones I guess the ones that actually matter the most are probably the spellcasters that need to be put in order, just to know what unit has what spell and how does it look, just so you have quite of an idea what you should expect from that. Because if you see like a Dark Archon, it looks like the Archon from Starcraft 2, like one of the, I think it looks the same, but like red color. And if somebody doesn't know, then they'll just think like, oh, it's nothing. Oh, by the way, one more thing for Protoss is the old school thing. So Templars and Dark Archons have no attacks. That's also something to mention. But yeah, we'll prepare the Terran as well, and we'll resume in just about now. All right, so we're back with some Terran action, and let's just start with some basics. So SCVs are 60 HP, so kind of broken, if you ask me. No, not broken, but like they have the closest range, so they have 0-0 range basically. No range for them, unlike probes and drones. So yeah, they need a buff, by the way. Oh, sorry, wrong shot. right origin, no buffs needed. I mean, they're perfectly balanced, I already see like a rock just getting through my window, and it's gonna have the note like, go screw yourself. Okay, so let's go with the command center. So the command center is, you can see it's kind of different because I already converted it into a orbital command, but it's like the same basic command center that you would have in any game. But now that we have the same with Protoss and Zerg, so once you have basically the supply depot, just like with the pylon for Protoss, you can morph it into a orbital command. So orbital command, if you are familiar with it from StarCraft 2, it does mule drops and scans and supply drops in StarCraft 2. This one here has a call down SCV, has the overcharge, and has the scanner sweep. Call down SCV is basically just going to nullify the production time of the SCV. Still costs 50 minerals, still costs the supply, but it actually just helps you a lot, so it's quite useful. Okay, so the other thing, overcharge. So this one speeds up the production. This is basically Chrono Boost from StarCraft 2, and as this is a Terran macro mechanic basically. Oops, sorry, I didn't meant to raise that barracks. But if we look at it, let's make like a unit. Up until then, we're gonna say that the tech tree is kind of the same. It says tech lab here, but the add-ons are basically the machine shop and the sensor tower. I think it's no control tower. Sorry. So you can see that it's the standard 20 seconds for the marine, and we just speed it up, and that's it. Ooh, and Origins units have arrived, a couple of them. Nice. So you can see that it speeds up by 75%. The starport and the factory are speed up by 50%, and that's pretty much it. For the scan, actually it stacks up, but you can only use it once you have an academy, so that's important to note. The other upgrade for the command center is the planetary fortress, which is a bit different from StarCraft 2. It's a defensive unit, but you have these Ibikis cannons or the Ibikis cannon ability, which basically will enrage it, so to say, and now you can attack with it, but other than that you can't. So that's important, and the range is like, it's not that big, and it needs to turn, so it actually has some flaws. Buildings wise, we have the bunkers, which are quite bonkers, if you mind the pun here. This one is a standard bunker, 350 HP. Origin, can you ping me? Okay, there we go. Here's a bunker. So there is an upgrade for the bunker called Fortified Bunkers, which gives it 200 hit points, 2 cargo size, which means either 2 marines or 1 more of these 2-sized or 2 slotted units. You can see the 6 marines, and it's basically the same. You can just rally point it and just get it out there. Also raises the range by 1, so it's quite powerful. I think this could be useful. Also has a salvage, the salvage thing, so I'll salvage mine actually, because yours is like quite expensive. No, actually it's the same. So you can see it gets back 75 minerals, so the infamous like bunker rushes and whatnot are quite effective. But in the late game, I think this bunker upgrade could be nice, especially versus run buys if it goes like super late game or something like that. And you also have the structure armor, which increases the armor of structures by 2, so they're gonna get quite tanky. Other than that, the tech tree is pretty much Brood War, which means you have your depot, then barracks, and barracks unlocks the academy, the factory unlocks starport, starport unlocks the fusion core, if I'm not mistaken. Cover tops, which unlocks the ghost, is unlocked by the barracks, and of course I think the factory unlocks the armory. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And other than that, we have yeah, this one, the fusion core is actually the cover tops. So that's the science facility. This is the science facility. It has upgrades for the vessel and the ghost as well, and the battle cruiser. We'll get to those in just a moment. But Origin, let's go with the bio first. So what do we have here?
So yeah, bio is basically basic. We got the Marines. Marines do have stim. Stim is exactly the same. Minus 10 life, but your Marines get the attack speed and movement speed for a few seconds. Injures, like I said, minus 10 life, but with that you can have a medic. So note on StarCraft 2 you will have the medic phase, but on Brood War it's the medic. Medic is heals auto costs, optic flare. What it does, it temporarily reduces target unit sight range to 0.
It blinds the target.
Removes detection from detectors. So if you have, I would say, medic ghost play, that can be kind of useful. Decreases decreases cast range of any spell to 4 on a target unit. Lasts 35 seconds, so it's a long last. That's long.
It basically disables the detector for 35 seconds. So imagine a ghost just dropping a nuke, and you cannot actually stop it.
Yeah,
Unless you're a terror, then you can scan.
there we go. And then we got restoration. It removes all negative effects from target units. So, for example, plague of the defiler should be able to remove that. And then you got the enforcer. The enforcer is basically based off the Marauder from Starcraft 2. Damage versus damage is 8 and versus mechanical it's 16. Range is 6. So it has electric fired rounds. This unit deals 8 bonus damage versus mechanical targets. This bonus damage applies to shields regardless regardless of the target unit's type.
Yes. So basically versus Protoss, it's
Correct.
yeah, doesn't matter. It's a bit better than the Marauder actually.
Yes. Then the Firebat also has stim.
Ooh,
Okay.
yes.
This unit deals concussive damage 100% versus light units. So very good against It's very, very, very good. 50% against medium, 25% versus armored units.
So basically, you don't want to send fire bats against like dragoons or something. So
No.
you want to send the good old marauders against, or sorry, the enforcers against them.
And then last on the bio from the barracks, we got the ghost. So the ghost cloak. The cloak serve for 2 energy. Note you can't shoot while in cloak, so deactivates. Ghost can't attack.
Wait, it can't? Can't you attack? Oh, it deactivates automatically.
Yes.
Wait, no. No, it doesn't.
Still.
Wait, it doesn't.
Oh, forgive me that. It says disable ghost, so I think it's more of a stealth thing, so it just puts auto attack off. It could be a possibility.
okay. Oh, so it doesn't. Yeah, because I remember there was something in Brood War with keeping ghosts like hold fire or something. I think, or am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping.
Then we got the launch nerve jammer. This what we'll do, will jam at the targeted location. Enemy ground units in area around that location will deal 50% less damage. Borrowed units will still do full damage. So note, if you're going to go against like lurkers, it will do not affect any lurkers. Also, if you have borrowed zerglings and if depending on the macro of the player, but it's instant, so you won't have enough time for it.
Yeah.
Then, Mauzy, I don't know if you want to demonstrate the kinetic destabilizer.
You know what? I'll produce another battle cruiser anyways. Let me. Okay. So I don't know why is this in the game. Honestly, we see that the battle cruiser has like this nice amount of HP. But if we put this spell on it and we just send it, basically this is like just retreating or something. It just burns the HP. Now what we didn't actually check is, wait, so this is only on mechanical units, by the way.
Yes.
Oh yeah, never mind. So it does the same amount. I think it does percentage damage, and based off of like speed and travel and everything. So the units traveled. It says basically does damage. Wait, I inflict damage whenever the unit moves. So it's kind of broken, I'd say. So yeah. Origin. Anything else from Bio?
It's just your basic CSO Academy. You get your STEM. Also, you got the. Let me grab this upgrade here. The name for it.
Barrel stabilizers.
Barrett stabilizers increases range of your marines, your enforcers. So it's kind of, I think, will be a very handy thing to research.
It's
Then
not only
both
marine range.
not only marine range. The only thing I'm a bit unsure about, will it stack in within the bunker's range upgrade? So that's to be, I would have to maybe check and test that somehow.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
also for the nukes, for the ghosts, to enable nukes, obviously you have to have covert ops. With the covert ops, for you to order to build a nuke, you have to have a fusion core play. So you can see nukes are pretty same amount of damage, 300 and 200. So
Boom, boom.
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it from my side. You got the bunker upgrade, Mauzy, which mentioned earlier, and yeah, with that you can have an armor upgrade for your buildings as well. So you can increase your bunkers amount of units and range. Plus, you can do the Terran building plating, which would plus make sure once researched, your armor is 3 on your bunker.
Oh, okay. All right. Ah, yes. There we go. So 1 base and +2 with the plating upgrade. Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Origin. So let's move on to the mech side, which obviously you're gonna play against Protoss, and obviously you're gonna play Ghost Mech, because that's gonna be like Brood War meets Starcraft. You know, if Maru played Brood War, this would be the type of gameplay that we would show. So yeah, factory, as I said, unlocks after the barracks. Starport unlocks after the factory. Pretty basic thing. They have both an add-on. It says Tech Lab. Let's stick with Tech Lab. If you're curious, it's called Machine Shop for the factory, and I still think it's Control Tower for the Starport. So at the factory you have your basic ground mech units, which is Vulture, Goliath, and the Siege Tank. Siege mode has to be researched. The Vulture is probably the most basic. This one is really cool. Does 100 damage, 100% damage versus light unit, so that's concussive damage compared to like the explosive damage of the Goliath and the tank. So once you have researched siege mode, I think it's a tad bit longer range than in StarCraft 2, but I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe it's kind of the same. So let's keep the Vulture for the best for last. Goliath is going to be a good option of anti-air, by the way, which makes it well, basically it makes the autocannon. This is against ground, and there's the Hellfire missiles, which are at 8 range. If you grab the upgrade, the +2 air range for the Goliaths, it's a 6 base and 8 with upgrades. And it has a higher weapon speed, so I think than you would expect, because it's 131, so that's quite interesting, and also 2 attacks, so that's why it's really good on the anti-air. Usually you will see it against mutas, you will see it against maybe even carriers. I don't know. Do you see it against carriers? I guess you can. So yeah, but the Vulture is going to be the most interesting one out of these units. So you can see it moves really fast. It already has the upgrade, and I researched spider mines as well. So you can see this one just places a spider mine here. This one, if it explodes, deals 125 damage. It's cloaked, so it needs the enemy needs detection, and it's triggered by. It's basically triggered by what you call it? By enemy movement. No, I'm not sure. Yeah, now sadly I cannot show you, but you can basically one-shot it because it's only like 20. So 20 versus light, it is considered as light, so a Vulture can actually one-shot it. So I guess you wouldn't really see it in TVT, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you play in TVT. Yeah, other than that, so this is a really good unit for run-bys. You can just set up minefields, and the interesting thing about the mines is they unburrow for a second, just like in Widow Mines in StarCraft 2, you can see before it triggers, but this one runs towards your units. So if you're not careful, it also can do a lot of splash damage, so something to actually keep in mind. Other than that, I guess there's nothing left from the factory. As I said, siege mode, once again, siege mode is not available from the get-go. You need to research it. Now for the starport, we have your classic stuff. We're gonna show the raid first. It's a cloakable unit, not really used. It's not that great against ground. It's decent against like armored air units, but other than that, it's like not that great. It has no armor on the base, so yeah, I guess it's like that's pretty much it. Then we have your detector, the science vessel. This is a really good one. It has a matrix which actually gives a 250 shield, so this is how it looks. Basically now the battlecruiser has a plus 250 upgraded shield here there, so that's absorbed first. If we look at it, you can see that that's absorbed first. Then we have irradiate, which basically is AoE and does damage over time, kind of like plague, a bit slower, but yeah, it's really powerful. And then we have EMP. Okay, I have money, I have energy for it. Well, you can see that it just removes the energy. It removes the energy from the spellcasters. So whichever has energy, basically you can remove it with the EMP. Also reveals cloaked units, just like the ghost EMP in StarCraft 2 does. Other detectors are obviously your sweeper scan, or scanner sweep, sorry, just to name it properly. And then you have the missile turret, of course. There's no upgrade for the missile turret. It has a 10 damage. It has explosive damage, so basically 10 damage versus armored, 7.5 versus medium, and 5 only versus light. It has 2 attacks, so that also is important to note. Now, the Viking is, I'd say it's exclusive to STARBOW, but it's actually not exclusive to STARBOW. It's like quite interesting. You know what? Let's get rid of the dropship. So dropship is kind of like super basic. It has the afterburner upgrade, which basically increases. It's like the boost from the medevac. It gives you speed for basically roughly 5 seconds. Doesn't heal, unlike the medevac, so it can pick up stuff. If I'm not mistaken, I hope it cannot pick up the tank. Never mind, it can pick it up even in siege mode, but it unsieges, so okay, never mind. So this is not that bad. Basically you can pick it up in siege mode, but it drops unsieged, so that's important to note. I think Blizzard should have fixed Legacy of the Void, early Legacy of the Void tank evacs like this. Sorry about that, it's getting late, but we're doing it for you with love. We're recording in the evening, by the way, if anybody's asking. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the dropship. And yeah, back to the Vikings. So you can see that it's quite a fast bad boy. It replaces the Valkyrie, and it's interesting. It says it does splash damage, explosive splash damage to enemy air units. I tested it, and it's either a bug or it doesn't attack friendly units. But the most interesting thing is you can land it just like the Viking, and look how fast it lands. And it has decent, like it 5 shots a ghost, and the ghost is quite powerful, 45 HP. So quite powerful. Other than that, I need to check. Does it do bonus damage versus? Nope, it doesn't do any bonus damage. Yeah, actually even 9 damage because this one has 1 armor. Okay, but it has 2 armor, so it's quite powerful. It can be used as a harassment tool, can be used as pretty much everything, so a really nice overall, nice, well-rounded unit in my opinion. Now, the capital ship is the battlecruiser, obviously. We have the Yamato cannon, which we can show, does 300 damage. One shots science vessel. Who needs a science vessel anyways? Should have made another battlecruiser, but never mind. I'm gonna chrono boost that one. We're gonna wait just a tad bit until we get 100 energy. So other than that, we need to show the attack. So this is a really powerful attack. It's 25. Okay, that's really powerful. 25 damage per shot. It's quite nice. Doesn't, by the way, it's not gonna be as useful against SCVs because it 3-shots SCVs. Like this is crazy. You cannot actually 2-shot SCVs, so it's not great against worker harassment. It has a warp drive ability which just teleports it to a really short distance. I think it's fine. I don't want to say I'm pretty sure, but I'd say this one just basically, if you're fast enough and you're good enough with your micro, then you can just dodge abilities or I don't know, just find escape routes, you know. For example, if you are here, then from like here you can just jump over here. So quite nicely done. This battlecruiser is really nice in my opinion. Does the same damage to air as it does to ground, so nothing fancy over there. And yeah, I guess that's it, right? Do we forget anything, Adam?
I think we covered about everything our side. Nothing else really. Let's get into the fight. Forgot. Same much mentioned, same more or less 10-3. A few added additional units, a few different things you have to research to achieve certain things than the usual Starcraft 2 method. So yeah, we pretty much got everything. As you guys also, as the viewers are going to notice, it's no attached tech lab or reactor for the barracks.
Ah, yes.
So that's pretty straightforward there.
Oh, one more thing. Supply depots can raise and lower, so you don't have to bother with walls and gaps and everything. That's a quality of life change for Terran. What also we didn't mention for either of the races is how the... Well, for Zerg is quite straightforward. Once you get Lair and Hive, you get pass +1/+1. But for Terran and Protoss, it's quite different. So in StarCraft 2, for Protoss, you needed a Twilight Council, which is the Citadel of Adun, equivalently, to progress from +1 to like unlock +2 and +3. Here you need the Templar Archives actually, so one tech building further, and you need the Citadel and then the Templar because it unlocks the Templar Archives. For Terran, I think it's a fusion core if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's gonna be the fusion core, because I remember these are the covered ops, the science facility. No, not covered ops, the science facility in Brood War. So correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. Hopefully I'm not wrong. I really hope. It would be embarrassing, but I don't want to like be stupid and just look stupid. But yeah, this is how you progress actually from +1 to +2. So not with an armory. Armory is also required to go further on the tech tree, but the mech tech tree. All right, so that's it. As I mentioned, it's a super fucking long video. I'm sorry for that, but don't worry if you cannot figure it out for this time, because the STARBOW Brawls, as I named them, name is subject to change, are going to actually return every single month, hopefully. So that's the plan, at least a monthly tournament. Let's see how the prize pool will come and go. Hopefully we can maintain at least like $50 per month. That's something I would be really happy about. So Whenever we have a bonus, we have a bonus. And yeah, there's a couple of participants already, a couple nice names. Origin is gonna play as well, and if he gets eliminated, then I'll invite him to cast. If I'll have no co-caster myself, I'm going to be casting. Maybe I'll play in the future as well. I just want to see how it goes, and I honestly love casting, so it's no biggie to me. But yeah, Origin, thank you so much for joining me in such short notice. It was a
No
blast
worries,
to
anytime.
it was a blast to cover all this, and we actually learned a couple of things ourselves as well. We've been discussing like how imba and how broken this and that is, so it's quite funny. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Check out CSO Esports, check out Origin's Twitch. Hopefully we're gonna convince him to stream every now and then. Now he has a decent mic, so maybe something, you know. I also have my stuff in the description box, just the usuals, you know. Check out Mauzy Cast. There, that's where we're going to upload the not the VOD itself, but like the series, separate videos. So yeah, and I hope to see you either in the chat or on the battlefield in the lobby on Saturday. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.